Hello history lovers, and welcome back to our channel. Let's dive into the fascinating events that took place on October 2nd throughout history. On this day in 1835, the Texas Revolution ignited with the Battle of Gonzales. It all started when Mexican soldiers tried to take a small cannon from the settlers in Gonzales. The Texans, not ones to back down, famously flew a flag that read, "Come and take it." This small skirmish was the first shot fired in a conflict that would ultimately lead to Texas declaring its independence from Mexico a year later. It's a powerful story of defiance and the fight for self-governance. Fast forward to 1780, during the American Revolution. On October 2nd, British Major John André was executed as a spy by the Continental Army. His capture exposed the infamous betrayal plot of American General Benedict Arnold, who had planned to surrender the key fort at West Point to the British. André's execution remains a dramatic and tragic episode in the story of American independence. Jumping to 1836, a young naturalist named Charles Darwin returned to England aboard the HMS Beagle. He had just completed a monumental 5-year voyage around the world. The incredible variety of fossils, plants, and animals he observed, especially in the Galapagos Islands, planted the seeds for his groundbreaking theory of evolution by natural selection, which would forever change our understanding of life on Earth. Let's move into the 20th century. In 1919, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson suffered a severe stroke while on a grueling national tour to rally support for the League of Nations. The stroke left him partially paralyzed and incapacitated for the rest of his presidency. His condition was largely hidden from the public, with his wife, Edith Wilson, managing the flow of information and effectively acting as a steward of the executive branch. On October 2nd, 1941, during World War II, Nazi Germany launched Operation Typhoon, a massive offensive aimed at capturing Moscow before winter set in. This was a critical moment on the Eastern Front. The Soviet forces, despite being pushed back, employed a brutal scorched earth policy, destroying infrastructure, supplies, and anything of value to slow the German advance and leave them vulnerable to the harsh Russian winter. 3 years later, on this day in 1944, the Warsaw Uprising tragically came to an end. After 63 days of heroic but desperate fighting, the Polish Home Army was forced to surrender to German forces. The uprising was a valiant attempt to liberate Warsaw from Nazi occupation as Soviet forces approached, but without sufficient outside support. It resulted in devastating losses for both the Polish resistance and the city's civilian population. Shifting from conflict to culture, October 2nd, 1950, was a great day for comic strip fans. Charles M. Schulz's Peanuts was published for the very first time in U.S. newspapers. This debut introduced the world to the lovable good O.L. Charlie Brown, and kicked off a 50-year run that would see the strip become one of the most popular and influential comics in history, bringing characters like Snoopy and the whole Peanuts gang into our hearts. In 1958, Guinea declared its independence from France, becoming one of the first French colonies in sub-Saharan Africa to demand and achieve full sovereignty. Led by Ahmed Sékou Touré, Guinea boldly chose immediate independence over remaining in the French community, marking a significant step in the decolonization of Africa. A major milestone in American civil rights history occurred on this day in 1967. Thurgood Marshall was sworn in as the first African-American justice on the U.S. Supreme Court, a brilliant lawyer who famously argued the landmark Brown v. Board of Education case. Marshall's appointment was a pivotal moment. He served on the court with distinction until 1991, continuing his lifelong fight for justice and equality. Finally, let's look to the stars. On October 2nd, 1984, 3 Soviet cosmonauts safely returned to Earth after a record-breaking 237 days in orbit aboard the Salyut 7 space station. Their mission was packed with scientific experiments and multiple spacewalks, pushing the boundaries of human endurance in space and paving the way for future long-duration flights. And that's a wrap on October 2nd. From revolutions and wars to science and pop culture, it's a day full of impactful moments. What event stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.